Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Spiro, and I will be your instructor for this semester online. I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself and also go over the syllabus and kind of just discuss a few things that might be concerning or anything that you might have a potential problem with. So, with that in mind, let's just kind of glance through the syllabus. You are given my cell phone number, and honestly the best way to contact me is via text message. I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally fine within reason. Please do not abuse the fact that I have given you my cell phone number. No 4 o'clock in the morning phone calls, no 4 o'clock in the morning texts, please. Let's do 10 o'clock on each end as being the cutoff, so 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. I am here to help you in any way that I possibly can, so please do not be afraid to ask me any questions. I know the concept of taking an online course can be a little bit daunting, so I'm going to do my best to help you in any way that I possibly can. I'm also not the type of instructor who is going to waste your time. I try and be as quick and concise as I possibly can. I try to give activities that are to the point and get down to what we need to get down to. You will need the Beebe public speaking book. I have listed the ISBN number in the syllabus. Your best bet is to go get it from the bookstore and talk to them and make sure. I have heard some issues regarding there being an Eastern Florida State College book and a national version. Obviously, we need the Eastern Florida State College version of the book. And yes, you do need the book. The book we will use for weekly readings, as well as your online quizzes, which I will get to here in a couple minutes. So let me scan down here. You can read through the majority of this yourself. Anything that you turn into me will conform to APA citation style. So 12-point Times New Roman, 1-inch margins, double space, printed in black ink. You can access information right off the library website, and it will give you examples of how to do citations. I think it even gives you an example paper, which is extremely useful. As instructors, we still use them. There's no way that we're going to memorize any of this stuff. So we're right there with you. So go ahead and just go right over to the library page for all the formal methodology of how to cite your papers properly. Let's see. You do need to let me know what your speech topics are, all of them. Do not leave anything up to question. You can even just text me your ideas and I will say yay or nay. I do ditch the big topics entirely. No politics, no religion, philosophy, stuff like that. The big stuff, I don't even want to go there. And it's not because they are not important. It's because they are immensely important, and I do not want any issues between anybody. And yes, it does happen. And yes, it has happened. So keep that in mind. Okay, you have 4 speeches in this class. Entertainment performance, informative, persuasive, and then the final project. Let's go through the list. So the entertainment. This is the one that scares a lot of people, and I definitely feel like it kind of gets your feet wet in that regard. So pretty much pick a scene from a movie or a play or some performance that has been done before, and you are going to memorize it and you are going to perform it in front of an audience. I do not want an explanation of it. I want you to get in front of your audience. When whoever is timing you says go, you just dive into it. That's the way we're going to do this, just like it's a performance. So I did link Toastmasters, I believe, in the Canvas course. So if you are having difficulty finding audience members, there are many, many Toastmasters clubs, which are speaking clubs, and they will gladly, gladly watch you and help you and give you critiques and whatnot. So there's really no excuse to not be able to find audience members. And you are taking an online course, so yeah, you got to find audience members. There's still no way of getting out of the whole public speaking aspect. Don't come to a public speaking course and expect not to publicly speak. So yeah, the only thing I want for that is a script and dress accordingly. The one thing I want to say about any of the speeches that you do in this class, I do not expect you to spend money. So I'm a big nerd, okay? I'm a huge nerd. You will find me at MegaCon, you will see me there, and I will have a blast dressing up as many different characters. So, yeah, I get the ones who are die-hard cosplayers and whatnot and have fun. So, but the big thing is I really don't expect you to spend money. If you do spend any money on the attire that you wear for this class, hit up the local thrift stores. There's many of them. The SPCA thrift store, I used to be the assistant manager there. You will find many great deals. If you need a suit or you need some business casual dress, you can find polos and slacks and anything else that you might possibly need there for a couple bucks, $5. All right, informative speech. So pretty much teach us about something, anything. Here's the issue that you're going to run into with that, though, is you have to have a minimum of 3 academic resources. So I get a lot of, I want to bake a cake, or I want to bake cookies, or I want to show people how to do an oil change, or whatever. And I will say, that's great, that's fine. Get me 3 academic sources. And that usually kind of stops people in their tracks. And I want to clarify, they are available. Sources are available for those types of speeches. I can tell you right now, there is a health and fitness database on the library page that has recipes for cakes and cookies and everything else. And that works totally fine. So the concept is you need to figure out how you want to approach this. A history of something, how it's evolved, a modern day interpretation of it, how you actually apply it. So for the purposes of this class, I try to keep it as simple as possible. So think of it like a 5-paragraph essay. So introduction, 3 main points, conclusion. It's simple, it works, there's nothing wrong with it. So if it's easy and it works, why complicate it? All right, so you will see in the required components section, you have a delivery outline, a preparation outline, survey with implementation, slideshow presentation, and business casual dress. The delivery outline in the textbook is actually known as a speaking outline. So my apologies for that. I did not correct that on the syllabus. It's a speaking outline. Preparation outline is the same exact thing, and I also give an example of the prep outline in the files folder on Canvas. The delivery outline I don't give an example for because frankly it's just a shortened version of the prep outline and the book does a decent job of covering that. Survey with implementation. I want you to make a free SurveyMonkey account, www.surveymonkey.com, and create 10 questions that you would like to know about your audience before you give whatever speech it is you're going to give. So you're informative and you're persuasive. So you are required to give a survey or implement a survey before each speech. Now, it's not hard. It's not hard at all. Go on there. They give you a choice of multiple choice, fill in the blank, true, false questions, and it is extremely simple to set up. It is free. There are pro features or platinum features that you can pay for. You don't need it. There is a limitation of 10 questions per survey, and that's all I require. I want 10 questions on each survey. So you can skip ahead and go ahead and read through the chapters on how to conduct a survey or how to find out information about your audience. A good basic starting line is some demographic information. How old is your audience? What's their education level? What do they do for a living? Stuff like that. You can tell a lot of information based on those statistics. Obviously, if you are giving a presentation on nuclear fission to a bunch of engineering students, you can skip the basics. But if you're giving a lecture on nuclear fission to a bunch of middle schoolers, you might want to cover, the basics of what an atom is and whatnot. So, yeah. Okay, that's a 4 to 6 minute speech. Now moving on to the persuasive speech. First thing I want to say about the persuasive speech is what I said earlier. I have taken certain things off the table. Religion, politics, philosophy. Don't go near them. Just trust me, we're going to have discussions on it and stuff like that. Not that they are not important. I just don't want anybody getting into a fight with anybody else. So, yeah. Pretty much anything that has at least 2 sides to it, you can debate. Pick a side. You can do red light cameras. That's actually kind of a big one. You can talk about anything. Anything you really want. It doesn't really matter to me. If you want a good place to figure out a good persuasive topic and a place to find resources for this, because you also are required to have a minimum of 3 academic resources, the library databases, the database Opposing Viewpoints is a great, excellent place to get information on big controversial topics. A big one right now is, of course, cyberbullying. That's causing many problems right now. You can talk about medical concerns and issues. So have fun with it. Just get my approval on it. I'm pretty lenient on most topics, short of the ones that I've discussed earlier. So yeah. Informative and the persuasive speech, business casual dress. Now the one thing that I do need to correct as well on this syllabus, because I usually teach this class face-to-face, is the business dress with color coordination amongst team members for the final project. Obviously, you do not have team members for the final project, but I do require you to be in business dress. So business casual, polo, slacks, ladies just a skirt and a blouse, but step it up a notch for the final project. Jackets. So, alright, so the concept behind the final project. Unofficially, we are playing a version of Shark Tank. So, I'm an investor offering you $100 million to come up with a new product or service. Now, the big thing I want to tell you about this is actually a really great project. And what I mean by that is I have had numerous students get patents and get offered lots of money from real investors. So with that in mind, if there is something that you've considered inventing or a business idea that you've wanted to pursue at some point in your life, now's a good chance to do it. Why not? You're here, you have to do a project anyway, so I provide a basic business plan that I will put in the files folder, and I want to be clear about one thing. The business plan that I put in the file folder is an extensive business plan, and I am not expecting you to get every little minor detail of that business plan. I understand that this is not a business class, but the best advice that I can give you for this project is this. I use this line: whatever you choose to do, you automatically inherit the nature of the beast. The one thing that I want to say about the final project is this: please make sure it is a functioning, realistic concept. As I said, this class usually is taught face-to-face, and I'll give you an example of something that went wrong one time for one group. They were coming up with a concept for a glove used by law enforcement that was magnetic. And the idea was when law enforcement would draw their weapon, the magnetic glove would help them hang on to it in case they were running or got into a scuffle or something like that. The problem is the weaponry that was used or is used by law enforcement. The only thing that's metal in it is a spring and the bullets. The entire weapon itself is actually a plastic composite. So my question to them, and we're not necessarily doing a Q&A session for the final project, but my question to them was, how strong does the magnet need to be in order to help them maintain a hold of the weapon while not impeding the flow of ammunition? And it was kind of one of those deer in the headlights moments for them. So yeah, that's just an example of a speech that kind of went wrong, you might say. So I'm very open to whatever ideas you guys have, and just run them by me, and we'll do our best to work through it and figure it out. Quizzes. There are quizzes that are located on campus, and you can work on them pretty much whenever you want. However, obviously get all the quizzes done that need to be done before the exam. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to release everything 1 week at a time and make sure that everything flows very smoothly before we move ahead and whatnot. So it's my goal to release everything to you guys every Monday morning or Sunday night. So just keep an eye out. I don't want to get too far ahead, so I am going to kind of limit when I release things and whatnot, so just bear with on that. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Makeup work, I usually don't allow makeup work without a really, really good excuse. Kind of a funny story of something that happened. My uncle was an instructor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And I'm the type of person where I try and be as honest as I possibly can whenever I possibly can. So I'm never going to lie to anybody about anything. So with that in mind, my uncle was an instructor, and he had 2 students who missed the final exam. And he kind of figured something was up with this particular situation. And so they came to him and they said, you know, sir, we had a flat tire on our way to come take the exam. Is there any way that we can take the exam? And he said, yeah, sure, of course. Leave all your stuff here, and I'll put you guys in separate rooms, and you guys can take the exam. And they're like, great, yeah. And the first question on the test, worth 10% of the grade, had something to do with the course content. The second question on the test, which was worth 90% of the grade, was which tire was it? So I always kind of laugh at that. I think it's kind of funny. Be honest in everything that you do in all of your endeavors and whatnot. You know, be real with people. All right, let's see what we've got here. Speeches are worth 50% of your grade. So 10 entertainment, 10 informative, 10 persuasive, and then 20 for the final project. Exams are 10% each, so first test, midterm, final. Quizzes are 10, and discussions and participation are 10. Grading's easy. 90 and up, A. 80 and up, B. 70 and up, C. 60 and up, D. 59 and below, yeah, sorry. FERPA, you're all adults here. You're the only one who I'm going to talk to and who I'm going to discuss anything to do with grades with. So yeah, I do give a tentative schedule. and I will do my best to stick to that as much as possible, assuming everything flows nice and smooth. The one thing that I do need to mention to you is there is one proctored test, and it's most likely going to be the midterm at this point. You will have to go to a campus for that proctored test. So either the Titusville, the Cocoa, the Melbourne, or the Palm Bay campus. If there is a problem with that, I will have a window opening that you can go take the test, and if there's any concerns or anything like that, just message me, hit me up, and we'll talk about it. So at this point, I wish you all the absolute best of luck. I will be posting videos frequently and always available. I did see a few of you took the speech anxiety test that I posted and got some interesting and surprising results. The best advice that I can give you for any situation where you feel nervous is you have to understand that we are all human, and humility is a beautiful, beautiful thing. The best of us mess up. I'm sure you've noticed, but I've been a musician for roughly 20 years of my life. I have no problem getting on stage and performing and doing anything of the sort, and it's something that I love to do. Now, there are other people who it is the absolute most terrifying situation that they could ever not hope to be in. So, with that in mind, rehearsal and practice means everything. It really does. It really does. If you have a 4 to 6 minute speech, maybe practicing it 50 times will get you in the ballpark of where you need. And when I say that to a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, 50 times? Well, think about it. Let's just average it at 5 minutes. So practice a 5-minute speech 10 times, there's 50 minutes. Practice an hour every day. Be diligent about it. The best musicians in the world will flat out tell you, do not overwork yourself when you're learning a musical instrument or when you're learning to speak, for that matter. An hour a day does wonders for speech. But the other side of that is you need to implement different techniques. Practice in front of people. That's why it's called public speaking, and that's why it's so hard for so many people, is because they don't practice in front of people. Practice in front of your friends. Practice in front of your family. Practice in front of a mirror. Practice in front of your dog. Practice in front of somebody. You have these Toastmasters clubs available to you. Contact them. See if they hold any meetings on a regular basis where you can go out and meet people. If you really, really want to be brave, go find an open mic night somewhere and ask them if you can perform your speech in front of them, because that's taking the leap right there, is getting in front of a group of people who you have no idea who they are. You need to implement different tactics and techniques in order to learn. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you wanted. Good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. So focus and actually do it. Actually do it. And when I'm in class, I always have one of my students get up and I have them attempt to do a martial arts kick, because I've been in martial arts for years, and I kind of guide them through it, just speaking and whatnot. And the whole point behind it is to show them that you can read all the books, you can talk about it all you want, but until you actually do it, you don't understand it, and you don't know what it's like. And the same exact concepts apply to public speaking. So get out there and do it. I'm very excited to see what you guys have for your entertainment speeches. The best advice that I can give you for that is practice and practice a lot. And as well, 65% of communication is nonverbal. So keep in mind, there's going to be points where I'm going to be ignoring everything that you're saying and watching everything that you're doing. So that's a big part of it. It's one thing to memorize something, which this is. It is memorized. You're not going to have a sheet up there in front of you. This is a memorized speech. Let me say it one last time. The entertainment speech is a memorized speech. There's no notes, no sheets, or anything. You can give a script to somebody in the audience, and if they need to help you at some point, you can say line or ask for something, but this is memorized. Stay calm. Relax. Finally, I want to just mention, with the exams, the quizzes you can take 3 times, and I take the highest score. The first time you take any of the quizzes, copy and paste the quiz questions into a Word document, and you have a study guide. Can't make it any easier than that. So, yeah. All right. On that note, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me. You can text me. You can call me. Keep it within the 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock range. Anything after 10 p.m. or before 10 a.m., I'm human and like to have a life. Thank you. So, yeah. I look forward to hearing from all of you. I look forward to seeing all your performances. I'm very excited to see what you got. And give me your A game, and I promise you I'll give you mine. So, and I am here anytime you need help. So, thank you, and have a great time.